We're back on the NJ Real Estate Show. I'm your host, Antonia Roman. I'm so glad that you can join me on this Thanksgiving holiday. It's in 2 days we'll be celebrating Thanksgiving, and I'm hoping that everyone is going to be counting their blessings for all that you have received or everything that you have been given pretty much this year. Your family, your friends, successes with your business. I'm just really hoping that you will have something to really be thankful for. And what I wanted to share with you is a story that came into me this week. And you know me and my stories. What can I tell you? They're not my stories. I'm sharing them with you. They're stories that come to me. And all these stories, unfortunately, are true stories. But I have to always share them with the public. You know why? Because when I share a story, it's going to help someone out there who might be in the same situation. I have had people email me every time a story takes place on my show because they will email me and let me know that that may have happened to them before, or right now they know someone who's going through that, so they can relate to the story. But my story this week comes from a young lady, and I wanna let you know that it's very hard when you have you know um, you're a single mother and you have a lot of children and you are really trying to find a place. It really is. And I'm going to share this story with you because I'm not going to tell you the person's name, but I'm able to share the story. I just experienced it too, and that's why I can share the story. It's kind of like a live story that I just experienced these past 2 weeks, and I'm allowed to share with the girl. They emailed me and say, "Yeah, you can go ahead and share the story." I just want to let you know that if you are a single parent out there, whether it's your mother or father, okay, and you have children, and let's say you have four, five, or six, seven, eight, nine, 10. I even know people who have 10 children. Okay, um, when you are looking for a place to rent, the landlord, yes, they have the decision, they have the right to choose whoever they want to choose to be the tenant for that property. However, the landlord cannot discriminate against the type of people that are going into the property or the amount of the people that can live in that property. They just can't discriminate against that. The only thing that a landlord can do is that if the bedrooms do not meet the amount of bedrooms for the amount of people, then that landlord can say yes. Unfortunately I can't rent to you because I only. And an example would be I only have 2 bedrooms in this apartment or this house, and you really need 4 bedrooms. That's not discrimination. That is the landlord being specific. He knows that there's certain rules and regulations when it comes to depending on your area where that rental is located. The law in certain areas and the rules are, it's 2 people, 2 bodies, 2 individuals per 1 bedroom. Okay? So if you have a larger family and 2 bedrooms is not accommodating, then the landlord has the right to say, I can't accommodate you because of, you're just too big of a family for the sizes of the bedrooms that are in the property. However, if the property meets the amount of rooms that are required and necessary for that family, that landlord really cannot discriminate against that individual and that family. Landlords, I'm kind of doing a shout out to you because I want you to understand that you could be held liable for discrimination. So, I know that you have a right, landlords, to look at the application, look at the credit scores, look to make sure that the person works, that they make enough money to pay for the property, the rent. However, you have to be very careful that when you do the weeding process, let's say you have 5 or 6 applications to rent a place, and now you're going to choose who it's going to be. You have to be very careful, landlords, that you do not make a mistake and choose not to pick a specific family or individual based on discrimination. You need to be very, very careful about that. I had the experience these 2 past weeks when I was dealing with a family, a single mother with 5 children, and we were having a very hard time finding her a location to rent because all the landlords kept saying no, no, no. And they primarily said no because they kept emphasizing about the amount of the people in the family. And I made it very clear to those landlords and to the representative of those landlords that they needed to be very careful and really needed to evaluate themselves and make sure that they were not discriminating because, I was making sure that I submitted, their application to locations where, of course, that the people knew that, there was 3 bedrooms or 4 bedrooms to accommodate that entire family. So I just want to just make sure that you understand that, landlords. You definitely cannot discriminate. And for you as a tenant who find yourself in that situation, make sure that that okay, first of all, that you do have rights, and I said it again before. There are books out there in your locality, your municipality. There are rules and regulations per state that deal with tenant and landlord rights. So make sure, if you feel, tenant, that there is a landlord that's discriminating against you, make sure you expose it. Not only do you correct that landlord and inform him that, hey, you're actually discriminating, you're not supposed to, but you know what, landlords, just also make sure that you are not discriminating, that you are basing the applicant on the merit of that they can actually, afford to pay for it, and that it actually meets their needs based on the amount of bedrooms for the amount of people. And I have to say that, after about 15 applications, and that's what happens sometimes. You really have to go through a lot of applications. After 15 applications, finally, a landlord said, okay, you know what? I'm going to go with this family, beautiful family. I have enough bedrooms to accommodate, and they met the criteria of the being able to pay. She makes a very good salary as a single mother, and the rooms accommodated the entire family. So that's just, I wanted to share that story with you because I just experienced it within these 2 weeks. And, that family is very excited because, they really had to go through a hurdle before they were actually chosen for that property, to be able to rent that property. And it seemed like, there was no, the hope was like falling apart, like they were like, we're never going to find a place. And I told them, I said, no, stay strong and really believe, because we are going to find you a place. And we finally did, and I'm glad to say they just settled this weekend. And I just wanted to share that, tenants, because, if you find yourself in that situation, you have the right, okay, to make sure that you bring it to that landlord's attention that they may be discriminating, and they're not supposed to. And landlords, this is just a tip for you to let you know that, remember, you can't discriminate, okay? Hi, and welcome back to the NJ Real Estate Show. I'm your host, Anthony Ramon, and as I promised, we have our expert speaker with us today. Her name is Maria Dewar, and she is from GreenFaith. And I'm so excited to have her on the show because she's really going to share with us today some major and great tips on how it is that you, the consumer, just like me and you, how we can actually save on our energy bills. And I don't know about you, but I know that every winter, like I mentioned earlier, my winter bills just get higher and higher and higher. And I keep saying, am I paying for myself or am I paying for all of my neighbors? It's a really high bill. So we want to welcome Maria. Maria, thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate it. You can join us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Maria, can you tell us a little bit about your company?
Well, GreenFaith is a nonprofit interfaith organization, meaning many religions that have come together to work towards environmental stewardship. GreenFaith normally works just among churches and places of worship to help them become more environmentally friendly and use less energy. However, they have partnered with PSE&G to bring programs of energy savings out to the residences.
Okay, and in partnering with PSE&G and the residences, is it any area? Is there any area that can qualify
For this specific program, just urban enterprise zones, so UEZ designated areas.
Could you tell us what that specifically mean? What an urban enterprise zone actually is?
You'll probably have a better understanding of it. However, you'll see on your town sign, it'll say urban enterprise zone, and you'll also have 3.5% sales tax. Basically, my understanding is that it's a initiative to get more businesses into the towns and build up the economy of the town.
Okay, so anyone who can actually be a resident and collaborating with PSE&G, as long as they're in an urban enterprise zone, where it's an area that only charges a 3.5% tax rate, I guess, on any purchases or things of that nature, can actually benefit from this program. Excellent. Now, how long has GreenFaith been in existence?
Since the early 90s.
Since the early 90s. Did you hear that, folks? So GreenFaith has been around for a while, and they're a very reputable company. How does the program actually work?
It's a 3-step process. First, you have to sign up to get a date for PSE&G to come out and do an energy efficiency test on your home. First step, they measure your house and see how much energy your house is using to make sure it's a healthy ratio. Second, they do a blower door test.
Okay, a blower door test. Stop right there. What does that mean? Because I kind of understand that, they would have to come out, like you're saying, they're going to do an order of some. But what is that? What is the blower? Is it like blowing out my door and now I don't have a door anymore in my house? What is it? Please share it with us.
Blower door test means they seal off all the entire home. Windows and doors are shut. They leave one opening open. Essentially, what's used is a fan hooked up to a computer. They test to see how much air pressure is coming out of the home through that one opening. If it's a low number, that means you have air escaping from other places. It could mean you don't have enough sealing around your windows and doors, or it could also mean you don't have enough insulation in your home.
Okay, so wow, is there a charge for that?
The blower door test is absolutely free.
It's absolutely free. Did you hear that, folks? We didn't even know that we can have that done. That's wonderful. And then what is the next process after that?
After they have done all the tests, step 3, they come back with a list of things that can be improved, and they let you choose what you want to do. And depending on your income, you would pay back 20% or 50% of the total cost that PSE&G is paid up front to have the work done over 5 years interest-free.
Wow, that's very interesting. When you say income levels, who can actually qualify for the program? What are the actual income guidelines?
An example for a family of 4 would be above the yearly total income would be $49,613. That's the floor. There's no ceiling to the program. You can make above that for a family of 4.
Okay. And it's interesting because usually it's the opposite. Usually when you have to qualify for a specific program, it's not, you usually have to be under a mark. But in this case, with this program, you have to kind of be above the mark. Excellent. Could you tell us how many people have actually benefited from this program?
So far, statewide, over 2,000 homes, which equals about $250,000 energy savings.
That's wonderful. And what are the areas that GreenFaith primarily covers?
Our nonprofit has the areas of Pemberton, Mount Holly, Collingswood. I'm sorry, not Collingswood. Camden.
Camden.
And that would be Camden City, not Camden County.
Okay.
Gloucester City. And then the North chapter of our organization do a few other cities.
That's okay. With some of the cities, how does it get mandated? How does GreenFaith know which cities to pinpoint? As you said, of course, they have to be in an urban enterprise zone area, which we now understand it's a 3.5% sales tax in that area. So I guess for GreenFaith to participate or be in that area, they first look for those criteria.
Yeah, they look for the urban enterprise zones, and they have actually worked with PSE&G to designate which areas PSE&G wants GreenFaith to focus on.
Excellent.
PSC&G has also partnered with a few other nonprofits to go into other areas such as Trenton. But our areas are the ones for the South, like I had said, but also Carteret, Passaic, Patterson,